Hi there, it's Lisa from A Lovely Life. Just hopping on here to talk to you about the second part of prioritization that I think is really critical. And that's, it's kind of a 5-part overview on how you really need to look at prioritization. And the first thing is recognizing that not all pieces of work have the same level of importance, urgency, or value. And part of your role as a leader is trying to determine what should be coming ahead of something else. The second thing is, and I'll talk about it in an upcoming video, is prioritization is really repetitive. And so we must keep doing it over and over. And I don't know about you, but I find if I've had a couple of weeks where I haven't really gotten on top of my prioritization, I can really feel out of sorts. I'm not sure what I'm doing. And that can create that frenetic energy that leads to kind of stress that because we don't know what we need to be on top of, especially as leaders, because our teams are often looking to us for the direction. So time spent prioritizing is important. It's never wasted. So if you're having a couple of those, it's been a few weeks since I got on top of my prioritization, take the time. It's time well spent, even if you think you don't have the time. The third piece is really around trusting people. Our lists are big, your people's lists are big of things we have to do. And what we have to really enable is delegation. We have to trust our people to evaluate tasks and work to say, is it valuable? Is it important? Do they need to engage with other stakeholders? And we don't need to be controlling all of it. If you're a leader that struggles with that control or that micromanagement, that's an area you really want to dig into, because that in itself will really undermine any initiative or any steps you take to really get a hold of prioritization, because it's an important piece of it. The fourth thing is don't be afraid to reduce your list. I have something, so I have my own system, and I find if there's something on my prioritization and it seems to come up 3 times sort of in a row every time I prioritize it, I actually kick it off the list. I put it on what I call the laundry pile of work, and I may pull it out later. But honestly, if I haven't done any work on it, it's not as important as I probably thought it was. It still may be something that I'd like to do, and that's something else. We tend to get emotionally connected to work we want to do, and we really have to be fierce about saying the work we need to get done is the work we're going to be evaluated on for the value and the quality that's produced. So if you have something that keeps showing up as that work effort that's just not moving ahead, evaluate. Does it need to be done? Does it need to be done now? Can it be moved to later? And then finally, and I think that this is a really critical piece, is you need to plan time to communicate with your team. Intentional communication around what's important in the organization, in your team, in a department, what's happening in maybe your marketplace, in your industry. If you're not taking time to really plan and communicate those critical things, you're not actually giving your team enough information to be able to prioritize appropriately. So as leaders, we have to be really intentional about creating knowledge, not only about our organization, but the direction, so that when we do actually delegate something, they have the ability to have the background and the context in which to make great decisions. So my ask or my call to action for any of you that are looking to work on prioritization would be to pick one area. Don't pick all 5, pick one. Pick one area that you think if you did this a little bit better, it would make the whole process a little better. Because the reality is if you change one of those things, it'll have an impact on the others. So start with one, start small, and you'll work up to big.